Okay, so I understand that you live in Donaldson Hills.
I do.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yep.
So how would you define the boundaries of your neighborhood?
The boundaries are the Cumberland River to the north. On the west is Mill Creek. On the east is Briley Parkway, and the south is Lebanon Pike.
Okay, but we're wondering if you can go into more detail about some of the people who live in your neighborhood. Just kind of describe like the general population.
You know, probably because of the distance to Nashville, you've got a lot of artists there. You really do. You've got a lot of artists. You've got landscapers, gardeners. We've got teachers. You've got a lot of people, like I say, who have the older folks, especially, who have been there since the 50s. People who were in the military, that kind of thing. Who've been in Korea, Vietnam. You've got a pretty wide range of professions and different walks of life. You know, of course, it's expanding all the time as more of the younger folks move in and what have you. So,
yeah, okay, definitely. So I guess, can you talk a little bit more about how you would describe like the wealth of your community relative to like other communities in Nashville?
The wealth?
Yeah.
Like what's good about our neighborhood, or
I guess more in terms of income wealth.
Oh,
like
income wealth.
How
Well,
does Donaldson Hills relate to other places in Nashville?
you know, it's interesting because the economic times that we're in, I think people are seeing that area is becoming more and more. People are more and more wanting to move there. I would say our median income is about 46 to 50,000, somewhere in there. I think if I recall my demographics correct. So you know, our average home price is between 130, maybe 140,000. And so because we're 5 minutes from downtown, I think we got a lot of the younger folks who are wanting to move there.
Okay.
So that kind of answers that. But that's roughly the median income. The cool thing is, with the young people moving in, what we see in the federal census goes every 10 years. The 2010 census is showing that our median income is starting to tick up a little bit, but our median age is starting to go down. So I mean, they both spell good things, I think, for the future.
Definitely. But we're wondering if you can go into more detail about some of the people who live in your neighborhood. Just kind of describe like the general population.
You know, probably because of the distance to Nashville, you've got a lot of artists there. You really do. You've got a lot of artists. You've got landscapers, gardeners. We've got teachers. You've got a lot of people, like I say, who have the older folks, especially, who have been there since the 50s. People who were in the military, that kind of thing. Who've been in Korea, Vietnam. You've got a pretty wide range of professions and different walks of life. You know, of course, it's expanding all the time as more of the younger folks move in and what have you. So,
yeah, okay, definitely. So I guess, can you talk a little bit more about how you would describe like the wealth of your community relative to like other communities in Nashville?
The wealth?
Yeah.
Like what's good about our neighborhood, or
I guess more in terms of income wealth.
Oh,
like
income wealth.
How does Donaldson Hills relate to other places in Nashville?
You know, it's interesting because the economic times that we're in, I think people are seeing that area is becoming more and more. People are more and more wanting to move there. I would say our median income is about 46 to 50,000, somewhere in there. I think if I recall my demographics correct. So you know, our average home price is between 130, maybe 140,000. And so because we're 5 minutes from downtown, I think we got a lot of the younger folks who are wanting to move there. Okay. So that kind of answers that. But that's roughly the median income. The cool thing is, with the young people moving in, what we see in the federal census goes every 10 years. The 2010 census is showing that our median income is starting to tick up a little bit, but our median age is starting to go down. So I mean, they both spell good things, I think, for the future.
Definitely. Let's see. So these are kind of some more like broad questions, just about the like design of your neighborhood as a whole.
Sure.
I know you touched on this a little bit, but I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about like the mix of like residences and businesses in Donaldson.
Sure. Donaldson, for the longest time, was a very auto-oriented commercial business district. Lebanon Pike, from Briley Parkway, say, all the way out to Stewart's Ferry Pike. That's starting to change. We have what we call an urban design overlay that's supposed to guide the redevelopment of that whole area. So we would like to attract other kinds of commercial businesses, retail, that kind of thing. That's starting to happen. But for the longest time, there was, a separation. Neighborhoods were here, business district was here. And I think with the redevelopment, what you're starting to see is a gravitation towards more multi-use, whether it's condos are kind of out. I don't see that happening anytime soon, especially with the housing crash. But you've got, say, like retail on the bottom and mixed use at the top. Like, you live at the top, you've got retail at the bottom, that kind of thing. I think when the redevelopment happens, you're going to start seeing some of that stuff starting to mix up a little bit.
Okay. So is there a definite desire for that in the community?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've got that train station, and that train station in Donaldson, it's called the downtown Donaldson area right there. It's actually got a little off-road, Old Lebanon Pike. It's got the plaza, and it's got a couple of really good restaurants there. So the idea is to utilize that train station so that if you have a multi-use area that's built up, people can hop on the train, go downtown, work, and come back. So that's the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's see. I know you've talked a lot about how your neighborhood is kind of like going through this like redesign phase where you're kind of looking towards the future. Like, if you could see some things like that you would definitely want to see like change coming into, whether it be the near future or the more long term, like what kinds of stuff would you like prioritize there?
The whole sidewalk streetscape improvement up and down Lebanon Pike would be huge. I think that would encourage a lot of new businesses to come in. It would increase the visual aspect. As far as the neighborhood goes, what you're seeing is a lot of younger folks move in because the median price of the house is affordable. What you really want to make sure that happens is that those are folks that are able to take care of those houses, because a lot of the houses, mine included, was built in '55. It needs a lot of maintenance, right? So you want to make sure that the folks that are coming in, want to really take care of the house, refurb it, redo it. I've got like 3 or 4 big projects that are on the horizon that my house needs. So yeah, that would be. I guess does that kind of answer that? As far as a concern, you want to make sure you attract good, solid, prospective residents. We're doing that proactively in the neighborhood. We've got a neighborhood association that we just started. We've had a neighborhood group for 10 years about, and we've taken it to the next level of doing an actual neighborhood association with simple bylaws. We've got money in the bank now to be able to do beautification efforts and that kind of stuff, to be able to attract the good people to come to the neighborhoods.
Okay. So, could you talk a little bit more about that? Like, what kind of stuff have you guys been looking to do as an association?
Sure. Yeah. Like I say, our neighborhood. I think the difference between the development of neighborhoods back in the '50s where it is today. If you design a neighborhood or a subdivision today, it's more cookie cutter. Whereas you got one entranceway, boom, you got the cul-de-sac around there, and each house is so much, it's more dense too. Whereas the neighborhoods in Donaldson that were built in the '50s, everybody's got about 1/3 or even greater of an acre. So I've got a nice big front yard. Small house, but nice yard. You don't get that a lot. So what we're really wanting to do, we've got entranceways to beautify. We want to be able to take some street signs that are either bent or rusty or whatever, and replace those and beautify those. Just like community building kind of things, where you want people to get to know each other. I think one of the unfortunate things I think about the design of our homes is that there's not a lot of front porches. So between not having front porches and not having sidewalks in the neighborhood, you don't get a lot of people that come out. We do have walkers and stuff like that, especially in the nice weather. But you don't wave to your neighbor across the way because you really don't have a front porch. Actually, I did put a front porch on my house a couple years ago. So that kind of thing. So we're doing beautification efforts. We've been doing block parties now for a year. Donaldson Hills never had a block party at all. And last year I put one together. 100 people showed up. We had live music, and to come to find out, we've got one of the most amazing bluegrass guys that was huge in the '60s and the Nashville scene here. He lives in our neighborhood, and that kind of thing. Nobody knew it, right? Yeah. And so he and his wife came, played music, and we had a big potluck and that kind of stuff. So, that kind of stuff. More community building, attract the younger people as they're coming in. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of kind of stuff.
Oh, very cool. Is there any desire to have like a physical community center?
Oh, that's huge. Yeah. Well, technically we do. I think it's branded incorrectly now for the times as they're changing. We have an excellent community center called Senior Center for the Arts, and it's also branded as it's 50 Forward, which 50 Forward is more of a brand, and they have like 4 or 5 different locations throughout Nashville. And the idea is that they cater to the 50+ market, but our 50 Forward and Senior Center for the Arts, it has an excellent theater program. It's called the Larry Keaton Theater. Larry Keaton is one of our great community leaders in Donaldson. They offer programs like my son Joey has done the summer theater program there, where you get to be a part of the production of the show, and then you actually get to do the run of the show. And he's done a few of those. It's an older building. I would love to see Donaldson with the redevelopment. One thing I've been pushing for. It would be nice to have some sort of community-based anchor, whether it's like a roundabout, like over here, right? Whether even there's a statue in the middle or a fountain or something like that, and then maybe around it would be some sort of new community center that maybe could replace that. They do excellent shows over there, but really the seating is just fold-out chairs and stuff like that, right? But it's top-notch quality as far as the theater goes. In the Donaldson Plaza there, we actually have I think it's called the Dance Theater of Tennessee. It's actually a professional ballet company right there. With the Roy Acuff Theater, with the flood, was gone. They didn't rebuild it. Gibson is not coming back at Opry Mills. So there's 2 theaters, like local theaters around there in the Donaldson area that are not coming back. So I would love to see, as part of that redevelopment of the downtown Donaldson area, to have a new theater. That'd be great. Yeah, kind of like Franklin Theater, Yeah, something like that would be great.
Definitely. Yeah. So I know you kind of mentioned to us that you met with the State Economic Development Committee.
Yeah, well, I'm co-chair this year of our Donaldson Hermitage Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Committee, and I have been I'm talking to anybody and everybody who will listen about about that Donaldson is here, the location. We are ripe for redevelopment. There's a ton of potential. Like I said, we got the younger people moving in, that kind of thing. So yeah, we're looking at what the mayor's office can help us do as far as the metro. They have their own economic development area. The state has an economic development area. So yeah, we're doing all we can. What we've been doing is gathering the data. The census data shows that we're growing younger. Our median income is actually ticking up. We'd like to be able to do some sort of like drive-through show and sell to potential developers, that kind of thing. So, we're seeing renewed energy. I think both at our local chamber and the residents that are moving in. So, I think now is the time. If you're looking at being a first-time home buyer, I'm telling you what, Donaldson is going to be a really great place to be in the next handful of years, next decade especially.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that actually about does it for our questions. So,
is that it?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Cool, man. Thanks. Been fun.